This video is sponsored by my favorite website creator, Squarespace, the best place to go when you want to get a domain or create a gorgeous website or an online store. It is here, that time of year again when everything feels like all bright and clean and new and fresh and like all the possibilities are possible. Time for a huge reset, just in time for the new year, don't you think? It's become a bit of a ritual of mine, like this sitting down every new year and every sort of autumn as well, to like take stock, like what about my life do I love and what about it needs readjustments or like complete overhauls. When you do this twice per year, one thing that I've noticed is that like it becomes sort of like a series, like episodes of your life, and it's a very satisfying feeling to look back at like the last list like this that you made and see how you feel about the things you wanted to change about life back then. So I've now read my list from early autumn and I've made a new one. So 6 things that I want to adjust or like completely change. Let's start with that scandalous little word, money. So basically David and I are both quite good with money. We don't like splurging or shopping sprees, either of us. That being said, these last few years have been our most expensive ones ever. Buying this apartment and then renovating it has more or less depleted all of our savings. The interest on our mortgage has also like gone up to like an extortionate degree. So our expenses just from living here are quite steep. But still, we own it, it's ours, and like a flat in London will always be a good investment. But now we're like, okay, we're no longer saving to buy a flat or saving for the renovations. Now that we're like slowly building our bank accounts again, what is our new attitude towards money? And maybe that should mean that we could now relax a little and not save as ruthlessly as we've had in the past. But hear me out. I have a completely different urge than to relax about money. Basically, I want to save and I want to like keep track of our expenses and I want to reduce our spendings, especially when it comes to food, because our monthly food budget is like completely ridiculous. We spend more on food than like your average family of 5. That I'm pretty sure of. And it's not because our overall food is expensive. I mean, porridge and brown rice, hello, is like ridiculously cheap. It's because both David and I have each like a few things we consume a lot of that are very pricey. Like my shiitake snacks and my kombucha, or like David's flavored sparkling water and soba noodles. So like we're changing things up and saving in on food and on everything else too. And there are 2 reasons for this. Let's see what you think about this. First of all, I want less pressure to work this much. With lower expenses, we can also lower our salary, which means fewer hours at the desk. Secondly, it's because I feel like I don't really need anything, like traveling, for example. It used to be such an insane expense for us every year. But ever since moving back to London, I've almost completely lost my wanderlust. I just kind of want to, stay here. Because walking around London with David, honestly, it feels like exploring. It feels like a little adventure every time. And you know me, I'm not about the stuff. I have everything I need. I just want to grow our savings again and like have less pressure to work this hard. That's it. That's my attitude to money right now. What about you? Where are you at with your finances and your cravings for shopping sprees and your wanderlust? I think it's good to check in about money once in a while to make sure that we're like actually spending or saving in the way that we want to, because it easily gets out of hand, doesn't it? Okay, so back when I did my autumn reset video like 6 months or so ago, I said that I wanted to divide my work into like being an influencer and being a novelist, like not doing it different days or not even doing it on different weeks, but into different months. So like 2 months being an influencer, then 2 months writing fiction. And I'm happy to report that out of all the like lifestyle changes that I've made over the last few years, this has had the biggest impact on my stress levels and like my overall well-being. I'm not working less. I'm just working in a way that lets me focus on one thing at a time, which fits my like type of brain perfectly. So as you can see, I'm now in like an influencer 2-month period, and I will soon enter a novel writing period. Of course, like they bleed into each other. Life isn't perfect that way, but overall, making sure I focus on one thing at a time has basically changed my life. And I'm not even exaggerating or like saying that lightly. It actually has. Of course, most people don't have this type of work that I do, that you can divide it like this. But I think it works just the same with like, you know, the mindset of separating work and off time, or like alone time with social life time, or studying versus doing household chores. You know what I mean? I think it's like we're often too multitasking for our own good. Personally, I'm quite anti-multitasking. I'm of the boring but highly calming school of doing one thing at a time. Another thing that I've been thinking about a lot lately is to like truly listen to myself and be quite unapologetic about what I want. Some things that I want from my lifestyle are frankly quite frowned upon. For example, prioritizing my writing over my social life, or wanting to stay in London rather than traveling the world, or, you know, staying in reading every Sunday instead of like brunching and doing things, or like not prioritizing making more money or buying more things over being, you know, happy with what you already have. I think obviously the end goal is happiness for all of us. Like the prerequisites for happiness look so different. The societal norms are constantly telling us that no, actually, happiness looks the same for everyone. More money, more traveling, new clothes, latest tech, beautiful body, Taylor Swift concert, tons of friends, very much partying. But of course, that list is not like created by like psychologists. It's created by mostly capitalism. It's easy to get like lost in it though, because I feel like if I'm a person who wants to have a great social life, but I also want to have a huge amount of time each week reading in solitude, or like working on my next novel by myself in a quiet room, it can sometimes feel like society is telling me that like, if solitude or creative work or, you know, homebodiness is my version of a good time, like I'm failing at happiness. That there's something wrong with my particular brand of happy. But should I care, really? Is my version of a good life not actually quite good enough? Of course it is. So I'm like this year telling myself that I'm allowed to be unapologetic in my way of choosing how I spend my time. There are no rules, and there is no like cookie cutter way to be happy. I think we should just like follow our guts more here, because it's like if we do only have one life, why waste it, you know, being stressed about society and, you know, what capitalism thinks. Another update from my previous autumn reset, sleep cycle. You all had so many interesting things to say about this, and like I loved hearing from all of you like nocturnal animals out there. And okay, it's been a success. David and I have both reset our internal clocks to like a very healthy 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. sleep pattern. In the beginning, we had to set the alarm for 7 and like force ourselves to turn off the projector at 10:30 at night. But now we are tired at 10:30 and always like fall asleep before midnight at least, and wake up by ourselves at 7 a.m. without an alarm. The main reason for this sleeping pattern is that it suits both of us like naturally to sleep this way, but also because since we work from home and like plan our time completely, we want some kind of normalcy and routine and consistency in how our Monday to Friday looks. And yes, success. So I don't want to change anything about this, but what about you? Happy or unhappy with your sleep? If you don't set an alarm, what time do you wake up just by, you know, yourself? I'm so careful with consuming content nowadays, like the music I listen to, the films I watch, the books I read, the accounts I follow, and like the amount of time I spend on my phone. I've realized just how much it affects me in like a number of different ways. Like stress versus calm, like that's obvious. So like calming music instead of upbeat, hectic music, like, and subtle, beautiful films instead of like cynical, violent ones, or like Instagram accounts that make me feel good about myself instead of disliking my life, and so on. So when it comes to stress, the number one most important aspect is like not being on my phone for too long. It wears me down mentally and like shatters my thinking. I mean, this is something that I'm times quite good at and at times completely useless with, screen time. If I'm just like a little bit tired or a little bit low or stressed, the phone is like a comfort blanket, you know what I mean? So I have to remind myself again and again to put it down, like, which sometimes works, but sometimes I just lose time mindlessly scrolling. And I'm sure many of you can relate. I use one of those like focus apps that locks social media on your phone, which is so hugely helpful. I'm using the one called Opal. Have you tried this? It cuts my screen time down like dramatically. David uses it too, and like we're not perfect with our phones at all, but it helps like massively. Another thing about content though, since we talked earlier about being unapologetic about yourself and all. So basically, I know myself well enough by now to know exactly what type of films and books and TV and whatever that will enrich my life and make me feel inspired. So I've become completely unapologetic in just simply going for that content. If I start reading a book and I can tell already at like 10 or 20 pages in if it's for me, and if it's not, I'm just gonna put it away and move on to the next book. Same with TV, I give it one episode, and if it's not my thing, that's it, no matter how like popular it is or no matter how many people are talking about it online. Because I realized that, like life's so short that I don't want to waste time, by being up to date or being like culturally in the know. I just want to consume the content that is like delicious and nourishing for me personally. Subtle, intelligent, emotional, beautiful, atmospheric things. That's it for me. Maybe this whole video is really about my last point for today, namely my new motto. My old motto was trust the process, but I have a new one since last summer, and it's so simple that it's ridiculous. It's just, don't worry about it. That's the motto. I'm an overthinker, it's my nature. I've always been that way. And there are so many good things about this because it means that you are like efficient, problem solving and conscientious. But it also means that you worry about a lot of things needlessly and spend too much energy on things that matter very little. It makes life annoying at times because like so many things that really are simple, like choosing an outfit for a dinner party, in your head, it becomes incredibly complicated and can like take up hours of brainwaves. So this new motto is just to like remind myself when I start overthinking to like pause, drop it, and move on to something else. Even though this is like hilariously stupid, worrying about what to wear to a dinner party like this, but I'm sure so many of you can relate to the overthinking, even if for you it might be about other things. I overthink more or less everything. So yeah, I'm in deep trouble. But like with everything, identifying that you have a problem is half the battle, or so they say. So who knows? I actually like don't mind being an overthinker since it does have so many good sides to it. But I would like to do a little less of it. Just like mellow out a little bit, Well, a girl can dream. But those were my 6 things to reset this spring. And I think now it's your turn. Don't leave me hanging all exposed here by myself. I want your list too. What do you want to adjust or completely change this year? Go on, I'm really curious now. And if you enjoy these type of like new routine videos, do give me a like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Thank you so much for watching. It's actually been so helpful to me making these videos twice a year because it motivates me to really think about what I would like to change with my lifestyle by like sitting down and doing these lists with you. Now, do you want to create a stunning website or launch your own blog? Squarespace has you covered with its latest innovations. First up, let's talk about their new design intelligence. Combining 20 years of design expertise with cutting-edge AI, this tool helps you unlock your creative potential, building a personalized, one-of-a-kind website that fits your needs. Squarespace also makes running an online store easier with Squarespace Payments. Onboarding is fast and you can start accepting payments in just a few minutes. Plus, it supports various popular payment options like Klarna, Apple Pay, Afterpay, and others, giving your customers payment flexibility. And for seamless social media integration, Squarespace allows you to connect your social media accounts in just a few clicks, whether you're embedding a feed or syncing your products directly to Instagram or Facebook. It's an effortless way to expand your reach and keep everything in sync. So what are you waiting for? Go get your free trial today at squarespace.com. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/chillimustard to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. So I appreciate you watching and sharing your stuff with me like always. You're gorgeous, the lot of you. Okay, here's to an absolute stunner of a new year, 2025. It's going to be the best one yet. I can feel it. Can't you? Okay, see you soon, loves. Bye.